Welcome to The Explainer. When it comes to managing really complex projects, there's one framework that you hear about all the time, Scrum. So today, we're going to break it all down.
Okay, so let's start with a problem I'm sure you've faced. Imagine you're building something big, maybe a new app. You have a plan, but you just know things are going to change. The customer will want new features, the market will shift. So how do you handle all that chaos without the whole project just falling apart?
Well, for a lot of teams, the answer is Scrum. Think of it less like a super strict rulebook and more like a flexible game plan. It helps teams deliver actual, usable stuff in short bursts. And, here's the key part, adaptive feedback as they go. It's all about navigating that uncertainty we were just talking about.
So, here's our game plan for today. We're going to cover what Scrum is, the different team roles, the events or ceremonies they follow, the key documents they use, and then we'll pull it all together with a simple example so you can see how it works in the real world.
All right, let's dive right in. First up, what exactly is Scrum? What's the thinking behind it?
Okay, so the whole thing is built on an idea called empiricism. That sounds complicated, but it's not. It just means you learn by doing. You make decisions based on real experience, not just theory. And this whole idea stands on three pillars. First, transparency. Everyone needs to see what's going on, no secrets. Second, inspection. You've got to constantly check in on your progress. And third, adaptation. If something's not right, you fix it immediately. See, check, adapt. It's a constant loop.
Now, Scrum has two big moves. It's iterative, which means you work in these short, repeating cycles. We call them sprints. You do the same cycle over and over. But it's also incremental. This is huge. It means at the end of each cycle, you have a small, finished, working piece of the final product. It's like building a skyscraper one fully furnished floor at a time, instead of just building the whole skeleton first. Each floor is usable on its own.
Okay, so we've got the what and the why. Now let's talk about the who. Who's actually on a Scrum team? Well, it's pretty simple. There are just three key roles. First up, you've got the product owner. This person is the captain of the ship when it comes to the product's vision. Their whole job is to figure out what's most valuable to build and to prioritize the to-do list for the team. They're the voice of the customer, the business, all of it, rolled into one.
So, let's go back to that transit app idea. The product owner would look at a giant list of cool features, buying tickets, saving favorite routes, real-time bus locations, and they'd be the one to say, okay team, the single most important thing we can build right now is real-time route planning. That's what users need most. They decide the what and why it matters.
Next, we have the Scrum Master. Now, it's really important to get this. The Scrum Master is not a project manager. They don't boss people around. Think of them more like a coach or a facilitator. Their job is to help the team perform at its best, to protect them from distractions, and to clear any roadblocks that get in their way. They serve the team, not the other way around.
And finally, we have the people who actually build the thing, the developers. And developers here is a broad term. It includes programmers, testers, designers, data scientists, anyone needed to turn an idea into a finished piece of product. They're a cross-functional squad. The product owner tells them what to build, but this team, together, figures out how to build it.
Okay, so we've met the players. Now, what's the game plan? Let's look at the how of Scrum, the process and the events that give it a steady rhythm.
Everything in Scrum revolves around something called the sprint. A sprint is just a fixed period of time. Usually 2 weeks, but it can be anywhere from 1 to 4. And it's a cycle. You can see it right here. You plan the work, you do the work with daily check-ins, and then you review what you built and how you worked. Then you do it all over again. It's this consistent pulse that drives everything forward.
So, every single sprint kicks off with sprint planning. This is where the whole team gets together, they look at the big to-do list, and the product owner says, here's our top priority. Then the team pulls a chunk of that work into the sprint and says, okay, this is what we believe we can get done in the next 2 weeks.
Then, every single day of the sprint, the developers have a quick huddle called the Daily Scrum, 15 minutes tops. And this is crucial. It's not a status update for a boss. It's for the team to sync up with each other. They quickly go over what they did, what they're doing next, and, most importantly, if anything is blocking their way. It's about collaboration, not reporting. All right, when the sprint is over, there are two really important meetings that wrap things up. First is the sprint review. This is where the team shows off the actual working product they built to stakeholders. It's a demo, a chance to get real feedback. Then, after that, they had the sprint retrospective. This one's just for the team. They get together and ask, how do we do? What went well? What could be better? The review is about the product, the retrospective is about the process.
Okay, so you've got the people and the process, but how do you keep track of all the work? Scrum uses 3 key tools, or artifacts, to make sure everything is transparent. First up is the product backlog. This is the master wish list for the entire product. Everything the team might ever work on lives here, and it's all prioritized. And check out how the requirements are written, as user stories. As a user, I want to do this. It keeps the focus on the people using the product. That effort column? That's just the team's rough guess on how big a job each item is.
So, if the product backlog is the master wish list, the sprint backlog is the team's to-do list for right now. At the start of a sprint, they take the top items off that big list and move them here. This becomes their plan, their focus for this specific cycle.
And what do you get at the end of all that work? You get the increment. This is the actual, tangible, working piece of software they created during the sprint. It's not just code. It has to be usable and potentially ready to go live. It's that fully furnished floor of the skyscraper we talked about earlier. Okay, we've covered the theory, the roles, the events, the artifacts. Now for the fun part. Let's walk through one complete sprint for our transit app and see how all these pieces fit together.
All right, Sprint 1. The team gathers for planning. The product owner says, the most important thing right now is letting users create an account. So that's the goal. For the next 2 weeks, that's their entire world. They design it, they build it, they test it. Every morning, they have their daily scrum to make sure they're on track. And when they get to the sprint review, they don't show mock-ups. They show a real working login screen that stakeholders can actually click on and try out.
And there you have it. In just 2 weeks, they didn't just make plans or write reports. They delivered a fully functional, tested piece of the app. That's the real power here. It's not just about being busy. It's about delivering actual value quickly and consistently.
So, when you boil it all down, Scrum is a way to embrace change instead of fighting it. By working in these short cycles, by collaborating constantly as a team, and by getting real feedback every step of the way, it gives you this incredible power to tackle complex problems and build amazing things. So the real question isn't just what Scrum is, but what could you build with it?